Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. I think let's wait for a few minutes.
Yeah,
It's funny. I just saw you in the Gmeet room, and now you're in the on the Instagram
yeah.
Instagram room. So
We are in such an exciting phase of our program. We have to see each other multiple times in a day, so that's quite exciting.
yeah.
I can see a couple of people have waved at us. Let's wave back at them.
Hello, hello, people. Hi, Indian wheelchair racer. Hi to you. I think it's 6:30. Should we start
Yeah.
now? And maybe people can keep joining in.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone who's here in this space with us. Welcome to our session where we will be introducing our new program, Pivot. And we will talk all about Pivot, why we've created Pivot, and what is the purpose behind it. And to just, we'll introduce ourselves, we'll share our stories with you and how it is all very personal to us. And yeah, we're excited to get this session started. So let's just introduce ourselves first. Aditi, do you want to go first and talk about yourself and your journey so far, both as an athlete and as the head of women initiatives at Simply Sport Foundation?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, I think a lot of you have seen me on the other side, joining from the Simply Sport sort of side of things. It's nice to sort of be on the other end this time. So, I'm Aditi Mutatkar. I am the head of the athlete and women initiatives at Simply Sport. Simply Sport is a 5 year old organization now. We've been around for 5 years, trying to sort of find our way in terms of what we want to do and what impact means to us. It's been a incredible journey so far. I'm also a former international badminton player. I played at the Commonwealth Games in 2010, where we won the silver medal, and I've been ranked 27 in the world. And have been national champion across all age categories. So that's my badminton background. At Simply Sport, just to give you all a brief, we basically focus on women and girls. That's our focus, and we also have an excellence center which is soon coming up as well in badminton in Bangalore, and which you'll hear about a little later, yeah, in the coming days. But yeah, our focus is women. Our focus is grassroots sport. We basically run three basic programs, two of which I'll talk about quickly, briefly, and then we of course go to the pivot program, which we are here for. The first program that we do is the women health program, and we focus on things that are specifics to women health, starting from menstruation to about nutrition, mental health, breast health, pelvic health, so on and so forth. And the focus is on workshops on creating a tracking system for women athletes, which is specific to them and specific to India. That is one of our very important sort of thing that we're targeting. And the second program is the grant program, where we basically support grassroots athletes and their academies and organizations, mainly trying to help them out with funding, with sports science support, with equipment, infrastructure, so on and so forth. And the focus is on academies and organizations that basically work with girls and women, and who basically help in finding a pathway for girls, and competitive pathway for them. So yeah, these are girls who are maybe district, state level athletes, and yeah, we also give them academic scholarships, which is important, and it's a good point to sort of raise in terms of coming to the pivot program. So before I go to pivot, I think I'll again go back to Mana and see if she has any more questions for me.
So it's quite interesting, Aditi. I mean, that you've been a Commonwealth Games silver medalist, and you've had such an amazing sporting career, and now you're leading so many programs at Simply Sport Foundation. Do you want to want to just talk about your transition. How was it, and how did you feel when you were? Did you have an understanding of yourself, and were you aware of yourself when you were coming towards the end of your career?
Yeah, it was a very interesting journey because I think so when I quit badminton, I was around 26, 27, and I remember that at that point I already had a job with Bharat Petroleum, right? At that point we were getting hired very quickly, and I had that job with me when I quit. So there was money coming in, and I was for quite for a few months, like 3 to 4 months when I was in the job. I was like, ठीक है, पैसा तो आ ही रहा है, dental मिल रहा है, medical is getting covered, and all of those things are happening. But I think in the span of 4 5 months, I realized that I was not enjoying myself as much, right? Because the job was around petrol, diesel, gas, and markets and sales and things around all of it, which was not really directly connected to sport. And so I didn't feel a lot of passion towards it, and I realized that maybe money is not the answer. I mean, just because I'm getting money, I may not be able to sustain it for too long. So one of the things I remember I did was I actually went to a on a holiday alone. I did a solo holiday to Bhutan. Very dramatic because, of course, I come from, Bollywood sort of childhood. But I went to Bhutan and I went alone by myself. I was there for a week. But that helped because when I came back, I sort of had a clarity ki, this is not what I want to continue with, and I want to sort of see if I want to go into coaching or I want to do something related with sport. But then, of course, as I turned 27, there was pressure to get married, and marriage was a good distraction in a way because dating waiting to जमा नहीं, तो arranged marriage ही होना था. So got married. To Chinmay, who was in the US at that point. And luckily for me, I took that. I mean, I like Chinmay, of course, so we got married, and then that's where we sort of I took it as a challenge to see can I put myself in a different geography, and can that give me maybe some opportunities to think about life after sport a little differently. And once I reached the US, I remember the major push was on education. That I had a degree in philosophy, and I did my bachelor's in philosophy, but that didn't really mean anything in terms of what jobs I can do, right? So I realized that I need something more in education, and that's where I decided to do my master's. And most of them told me to do an MBA because that was a great fit, coming from sport and all of those things. It could help me sort of have a good sort of profile for an MBA. But I decided to do an MBA, which is a master's in public affairs from University of Texas in Dallas, because I was very clear that I wanted to work in the development sector. I had done some volunteering as an athlete when I would be injured, and I was fairly injured as an athlete. So I got to do a lot of volunteering in these organizations, different organizations, not really all related to sport. But I realized that I enjoy this. I really, really enjoy this, and that's where I made the shift. That's where I sort of thought, okay, I want to do an MPA. I want to specialize in non-profit management. Maybe have my own organization back in India and do something in grassroots level sport, because I had seen elite sport and I knew that there was support there, but I wanted to do something in grassroots sport. And that's how I got into my masters. I did well in the masters. That gave me some confidence, and then came back to India, applied to a few non-profit organizations. Art of Play was my first sort of stint as an athlete. Did my job there for 2 years. COVID struck, became a mother. So it was a good sort of balance because COVID sort of pushed everyone to the houses, and I became a mother then as well. So 1 year with my kid, and then realized that no, this is not what I can do. I have to have my own identity. I can't be, only a mother. And luckily at that point, Simply Sport came in, and it's been I was part of the founding team at Simply Sport, and yeah, and then that's been the 5 years of Simply Sport. So that was sort of my journey. I think what I want to just add here is that that period of transition, right, when I went from being an athlete to sort of not being an athlete, I think it happened very quickly, and I had nowhere to go. Like, I couldn't everybody was like, "Hai to job to hai hi, you're going to the US." Everybody was like, "You must be happy, kya hai? Matlab, what is there to think?" But it was not so happy. I
Yeah.
sort of lost my identity completely. I didn't have my own routine. Like, I would train 8 hours a day. That was just gone. There was no purpose,
Hmm.
right? And it was 6 to 8 months of so much of, like, mental churning that was happening, most of it by myself alone. And there was no sort of platform or no sort of network that I could reach out to at that point. And a lot of my decisions had to be taken in, very internal by myself. And yeah, and I think the transitioning period was very, very hard. And I realized I had no real skill. Like, I remember when I went into my first day at Bharat Petroleum, they told me, "आपको Excel आता है? Microsoft Excel पे numbers डालने हैं." And I was like, "Yeah, आता है." And I sat on Excel. I knew nothing. Like, I had never used an Excel sheet before. There was no way I would know how to use an Excel. But I immediately realized that I should say no when I don't know things. And luckily for me, I had a manager who said, "You have to wait after hours and learn the Excel. We'll have somebody help you out." So it was a great lesson to know that Commonwealth game medalist, sab kuch is okay, but it really doesn't matter, once you're in this environment, because you need to, know how to use an Excel. So yeah, very interesting sort of journey, and I think that's what got me to pivot and to sort of see what we can do to not have athletes feel so lonely after they transition
Yeah.
from sporting careers. But I wanted to, sort of also use this segue to ask you, because you have reached there just now, like it's very recent for you. For me,
Yeah.
quite a while, but for you, it's very recent. Can you help us understand, what's your journey been like, as you make this transition currently?
So, I've been to everyone who's here. My name is Mana, and I'm an Olympic swimmer. I competed at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games and the 2023 Asian Games. And I recently graduated from the University of Bath in Masters in Sports Management. And I joined Simply Sport Foundation as a program lead for Pivot that we're going to so talking about my journey, in the last couple of years, even in 2017, I remember when I was, enrolling myself into a college, I had this question that, okay, if I'm going to do, if I'm going to opt for distance learning, how am I going to be able to manage in a group of people? Because obviously I'm going to learn differently being away than people actually sitting in class. I might absorb a little less than what is taught in class, because in-person training really matters. So there was this time when, my focus was completely on swimming. And obviously I finished my college when I was in Mumbai, when I was training in Mumbai. But back of the mind, I was feeling very insecure about myself, that, yes, that's great that I managed to go to tuitions and, take exams and everything has happened smoothly. But how do I, like, will I be able to do a master's degree? Will I have the same competency as anybody else who is not an athlete and who is a, regular school going person, college going person? So I kind of had this question at the back of my mind, but I was also fully aware about the importance of education and how that really directly impacts on your personality and your holistic development, overall being as a person. Because that is very important to me. That has always been important to me. So in the last 2 years, I remember when I was going through my journals, I had so many notes written in terms of, I was confused, like, what about post career, a post sports career? What do I do if I happen to retire tomorrow? I had these questions, but I didn't have any answers.
Hmm.
And even when I was, signing myself up for the master's course in Bath, I was very excited. I was very, I was really looking forward to it. But somewhere I was feeling insecure about, sitting in class after so many years,
Yeah,
will I be able to manage and go through it? And it's challenging because,
yeah,
for 15 years, even when I was in school after eighth grade, I have missed school on multiple occasions, even for months altogether.
yeah.
Missing on regular classes, hanging out with friends. And sometimes, if I'm being vulnerable here, I still find it challenging to navigate in like big groups or social settings, parties. So, all
Yeah.
of that has always been a challenge. And when I speak to my fellow athletes, they also go through the same issues.
Yeah.
So, and when Simply Sport Foundation came up for this role, when I saw it on LinkedIn, I was really excited to learn more about it. And it felt deeply personal to me because of having gone through the challenges myself, having gone through the confusion myself. But I would say that I have been fortunate enough to have a group of people around me, two, three mentors that have always been by me, who have always supported me, and I've spoken to them openly. I've, had the chance to bounce off ideas with them. So I am fortunate to have such people around me, and that's also why I understand the importance of networking.
Yeah.
And I want to bring out all of this in the program with you, and see how we can help the current generation or the upcoming generation in a smoother transition, in a
Yeah.
smoother career transition.
Yeah, like I wanted to also just quickly talk about the so I mean, because this program, the way we've structured it, it's for the age group of 17 to 25, right? And I think we took this decision very consciously because we wanted to also get active athletes involved in this as much as we wanted to get athletes who were thinking about retiring, right? And I just wanted to say that, like you rightly said, when we are competing and we are in our colleges, we are all sort of registered in colleges and schools and all of that, but like you said, we hardly go there, right? And the skills that are required to sort of be successful, like say Microsoft Office, or
Yeah,
how to use AI, for example, which is quite recent, or how to make a presentation. We never ever get that chance. We just reach there for exams, or we sort
yeah.
of do all of that. So I think it's very important with this age group that we are thinking of. I think it was important because we realized that when you're actively even playing, right, it's quite easy for you to give out 1 or 2 hours a day to work
Yeah,
on yourselves outside of sport, right? Because
yeah.
I think that gives you purpose, that gives you a sense of sort of accomplishment, which is very, very important. So I think as active athletes, we never had that space. We never had that space who could come and tell us that यार तुमको पता है कितने careers होते हैं sport में, किन चीजों के लिए आपको skill important है, important hai. Like nobody ever had those conversations with us. And even though we were such successful athletes, we were not brainy enough to actually think about
Yeah.
it, right? Because we didn't think
No.
about acquiring these skills at that point. So I think we took a very conscious decision. That's why that even active athletes should have some knowledge about what's out there and what they need to need to be a success. So it was good for us to sort of make that decision. Hopefully that pans out well.
I
So
mean, if I have to add, sorry, if I have to add to this point, I
yeah,
feel like it is very important as active athletes. I understand, as an athlete myself, I understand the routines and how disciplined one has to be able to get up and do it every day.
yeah,
But I also feel it is very important to do something else apart from your sport. It gives you the chance to take your mind off of your
yeah,
rigorous routine,
yeah,
and also intuitively kind of channelize that energy into something new, into something
yeah,
else that will add to your, let's say, personality or your resume. And
yeah,
that is what is important, because I feel like so many people in the ecosystem of who's around an athlete, sometimes they don't encourage that. All you need to do is switch your phones off and rest, and don't watch any TV, no
yeah,
laptops,
yeah,
just sleep, eat, and repeat. But
yeah,
that's not the right way to go on about it. Like, I feel it has some, to pick up an extra curriculum, like
yeah,
learn a language or learn Canva. I think that basically helps you reset and refresh and
yeah,
come back stronger even in your sport. Because when I
absolutely.
was a student, yeah, when I was a student athlete, when I was in school, I think I was the happiest person juggling both exams and swimming, and I would do so well in both,
Yeah,
because it allowed me to switch off from one activity and then come back to it later
yeah.
feeling recharged.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a very important thing because, like with our workshops, for example, we go to a lot of residential academies, and where athletes are
Yeah,
staying in those centers and not going home or whatever, right?
yeah,
And one of the things that we see is exactly what you're saying, that it is eat, sleep, train, repeat. That is the only thing that they are doing.
Yeah.
And what tends to happen is that out of the 100 athletes that are there, maybe two athletes who are competing are winning medals, or who they're winning tournaments, but the rest of them are not even winning as much as they
Right.
want to, right? So how do you keep yourself motivated? How do you sort of keep yourself refreshed? And I really feel that a course like this, for example, could actually give them a different sort of thing to look up for. And it is not as
Yeah.
competitive a space. It is more,
Yeah.
coming together, collaborating, learning together,
Yeah.
which can give them that extra motivation, to sort of ठीक है यार, मतलब अगर मैं जीत नहीं रही हूँ, at least I am able to sort of do this course, and I'm submitting something which might be of value later, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel that it was important to target both sort of athletes, to sort of see how we can help them better, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's the right time to sort of quickly talk about pivot.
Talk.
Right. I mean, what do we plan to do? What is the eligibility criteria? Things like that. So, do you want to just take us through the overall sort of 4 modules that we have, the special effects that we have in the course, maybe, and I can take them through the eligibility and the that is required for the course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm really excited that now we finally get to speak about Pivot. So, Pivot is our recently launched program, and this course is designed for athletes that will help them transition better into a life after sports. It equips athletes with practical skills and mentorship to successfully transition into new professions and possibly leadership roles. So it is, as we mentioned earlier, it is a 9-month hybrid program. That is, it is a mix of both online and offline programs, and we've got an integrated mentorship program that will run through the period of 9 months, where all our athletes will be assigned a mentor that they can work with, that they can set their goals with, and they can talk about themselves, any issues that they are facing. So this pivot comes with an integrated mentorship program. Speaking about the modules that we have, we start with module 0, as now we're in this era of AI and all things digital. We want to start the program with digital literacy, where all our athletes will be taught basics of Google Workspace, understanding Microsoft, understanding how to use PowerPoint, Excel, understanding the basics of AI, writing emails. So that's module 0. And module 1 is about understanding the self, who you are, understanding what are your strengths as an athlete, as you spoke about identity crisis,
Yeah.
learning to deal with that. Also understanding, in terms of your gender, like, as a female, how do you feel yourself, how do you feel about yourself and your journey so far.
Yeah.
Module 3 is basically about leading yourself and others. How can you work as a leader, and how can you lead a team of others around you. And module 4 is all about career awareness and career development, which has something really interesting. The pitch fest, where the group the group projects that are assigned to athletes, they will come together, they will present their projects in a pitch festival. And so that is something really exciting in module 4. And they will also be taught, they will also have sessions on mock interviews and sessions on career awareness. So that, in a nutshell, this is what our program is about. We've also divided the program in 3 quarters. So once in a quarter, we will have our offline sessions with our proud partners, Anantpur Sports Academy, which is in Anantpur, in the south of India. So Anantpur is very kind enough to host all of us and the girls for a 3-day boot camp. The whole idea of having this session is to have these offline session is to bring everybody together, because networking is also very important. We want all the girls to come together, rely on each other, meet each other, build connections, form friendships. And as amazing and convenient online learning is, but I feel it's the in-person learning and all the meetups that makes a huge difference. So this is what the program is about briefly. And Aditi, please feel free to add whatever I may have missed out on.
Yeah, I think, like she said, there is pitch festivals and there is, a mentorship. We also are actually giving out scholarships. So, at the end of the program, the top three athletes who, in terms of performance, will get scholarships to do their, certifications of choice in sport. It can be on refereeing, it can be on coaching, it can be sports management, whatever. But we'll also be giving out scholarship to the top three athletes. I think a very, very important thing that we should, really pinpoint to is that this is a fully funded program, right?
Yes.
I think this is something that you should know. It is also this year, it is specifically for female athletes, and it's fully funded. All your travel for the boot camps, everything will be funded by Simply Sport itself. So know that it's a free program.
Yes.
I'll quickly talk about eligibility. Like I said, the age group is 17 to 25. It's important that you have at least some access to a computer, yeah, at least online sort of communication, which is a phone where you can join our meetings. Computer is required for your submission, so even if you don't have your own laptop or your own sort of system, you should please have access to somewhere to go and do these submissions. We have kept it very, very low in terms of submissions, so you can be quite don't get scared about that as much, but we will have very small submissions through the weeks that we sort of do these sessions. In terms of language, the major language we use is Hindi and English. So it's important that you at least understand one of the two languages, English especially, because a lot of our career and sport certifications, for example, in the future are going to be English. So though we will teach you spoken English and how to write like that, understanding instruction in English is something that is important. Then lastly, I think having state level representation in any sport is good for us, because we want at least some competitive sort of participation in sport. It can be through schools or it can be in the by the federations, but it has to have actually it has to have at least state level representation. So this is basically the eligibility criteria. How do you apply? Basically, we have if you go on our website or you go on our bio, sort of a Simply Sport bio itself, you will find an application form. It's an online form, simple enough. You just need to upload everything on that form. Once you upload it, we go through your sort of application and we give you a call for your interviews. It's a simple enough process, and already, by the way, for everybody who might be interested, of course, you should know that we have over 100 applications. So I would encourage everyone to sort of really quickly take a decision if you're interested in the course, and start applying, because this year we are looking at only 25 to 30 athletes that will qualify, and that those are going to be our first pivot cohort. So for application is pretty simple. If you don't go on this bio, you can also go on our website. There is a brochure that you could download, and sort of and the application form is on the website as well. What I would also suggest is that the commitment to be with the course for 9 months is super important, because we will take attendance quite seriously. So it's important that you're committed for that period, and also are able to travel, right? I mean, there has to be the ability to travel for the offline sessions, because as Mana rightly said, they are very important part of the program. There's going to be a lot of learning and teaching and collaborating in these sessions, sort of testing. Like we are doing psychometric tests as well to help you understand your interest better, your mindset better. So a lot of these things will happen offline. So it's very important that you're there offline as well. So these are some of the eligibility criterias, and how to apply. I think there were some questions on comments that how do we apply to the course. So like I said, website and the Instagram bio link has our application form. It's a simple Google form which you can use to apply. So I think these are
Okay.
the things that I think are important to pivot. Anything else, Mana,
Yeah.
that you add?
Yeah, I just thought, at this point, let's give everyone a little sneak peek into all the skill sessions that we've set up
Yeah.
and what the calendar roughly looks like. So we're planning on announcing our cohort on the 10th of December as of now. And the program is all ready to start from January 2nd. And it runs for a period of 9 months, starting January 2nd. And we are expected to have our first graduation ceremony in the month of October 2026. So, as we spoke about the importance of this course, we've got each module has got two skill-based sessions. For example, module one has got English language lessons and Canva design lessons. As we now understand the importance of designing and the use of English language, and then module two has financial literacy and project management. After doing a lot of research on the latest skills required in procuring a job, in the last 2 years, project management has become an essential now, and that's why we have decided to include project management in our course. And financial literacy is also very, very important. One has to understand how to
I'm
manage
very
their own
excited
money,
about
how to, sorry?
I'm very excited about financial literacy. I think it's a very, very
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you should learn how the money comes in, how to budget,
Yeah.
what happens when the money goes out, basically managing your own money.
Yeah.
And then module two is all about, mock interviews,
Yeah.
career awareness sessions. So mock interviews is something that will help you prepare to prepare you to interview for jobs, or even volunteer internship opportunities. So the way we have designed the calendar is that it is not very cramped. We have made sure that everyone gets enough time to rest, to play their sport, and even manage all their submissions and ensure engagement throughout the course. I promise you, I understand that this is a huge requirement for active athletes, and you only have to devote 1 hour a day. And I think that is also very important for your own well-being. So, um, and we're not some educational foundation, we're not a school, we're not going to grade you on your submissions, but the whole point of submissions is so that you learn, you take accountability of the tasks or the skills that you have learned, and you get constructive feedback about it. So you don't have to feel inferior, you don't have to be scared if you don't understand any of these sessions. We are all here to help you, and we will make sure that by the end of the course, you are able to use these skills to develop yourself and have a sustainable career after sports.
Yeah, yeah. I think, to add to this, one very interesting thing that we're going to do is also brand building. This was something that I think none of us were taught.
Yeah.
And I think that is something like how to use social media to your advantage, for example, or, how do you start a channel, right? I mean, things like that, because athletes are, born stars in a way, at whatever level you're playing, you have, great fitness, you have so much, knowledge and wisdom that maybe day people, it might not come very naturally too. So how do you develop that brand? How do you understand what you can sort of earn money from? And I think that's a very important sort of way of earning money today. So that is another sort of thing that we'll also have some lessons on. So yeah, I think this is what Pivot is about. If you have any questions after this session, if you see the session later and you still have some follow up questions, you can DM us on Instagram itself on the Simply Sport channel. You could also use our website, like I said before. There is a contact us page. There is a website. There's an email link there on the brochure itself, where you can write to us and sort of reach out to us with more questions. I would also say that if you're an organization watching this, or if you're a federation, or you're a coach who has a bunch of athletes with them, we are also open to doing information session for your athletes, curated for you specifically. So if you just write to us and say we have 20 athletes who are interested, would you do a half an hour session for like an info session for them? We can do that. We are open to doing that as well. So there are various ways to sort of reach out to us. But my only, sort of request to everyone is that do it quickly, because we will close soon, and the response has been quite a lot. So there are limited seats. So I just hope that everybody who's interested reaches out to us quickly rather than later. So yeah, anything else?
Before
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say, as we're now giving you now, we've almost given you all the information about Pivot, but we don't want to forget about something that's very, very important and exciting about the program is that, we've got two different kinds of prize money for all our participants towards the end. So one is the prize money for the best idea or the best group presentation project, and the other one will be based on the scholarship prize money will be based on your engagement and your participation throughout the course. So we've got two different kinds of prize money, and I hope that motivates you to take up this course and make sure that that wants you to develop yourself. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
wanted to add that.
soft thing about this course, which I am very personally excited about, was so like Mana was when Mana was training, so was I. I mean, of course, I'm much older than her, but we were kind of training at the same time. But we never met each other. Like we had no
Yeah,
platform to sort of a badminton player couldn't meet a swimmer or
yeah,
a footballer at the same time, and learn about their journeys, learn about what they struggle with, what are their challenges. And this, Pivot might be the only platform right now where you get to meet athletes from different sport disciplines, listen to their journeys, gel with them, have maybe a sort of a dance program with them when we do our offline sessions. But that is a very, very exciting thing about this platform, that it will bring athletes from different cities, from different villages, from different sports, from different socio-cultural backgrounds together and make a really cohesive unit, right? I mean, that is one thing, Mana, that I'm super, super excited about.
yeah,
I wish I had that platform, because for example, when we started talking about this course and building this, it was so cool because, you come from your sort of sport and your background, I come from mine, and we could really sort of pitch up ideas and sort of, realize that such similar journeys at the end of the day, and we all kind of we are sort of on the same boat. And I think that gives you a feeling of not being alone. Like I said, like when I was transitioning, I felt alone, and
yeah,
and you don't have to be alone. I think that's one of the cool things about this program that also I'm very, very excited about. So yeah,
so
so very excited to get this started.
basically this program, basically Pivot, is also looking at building sustainable athlete
Yeah,
networks and sustainable athlete groups, so all of us can rely on each other, take
yeah,
inspiration from each other's journey, and also in tough times we look forward to leaning on each other for support. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, and just the last thing, I think, like I said, we are going to give you enough sort of opportunities to learn about careers in sport. And as we all know, we need more women and girls, picking up
Yeah,
important roles. Maybe it can be in our federations, it can be as coaches, it can be as sports scientists, it can be umpires, referees, broadcasters, whatever might it be. But we need more women. And I think one of
yeah,
the things that this course can do is sort of give you that step into a career in sport as women, and sort of increase the representation of girls in different sort of ways, not just as athletes. So I
yeah,
think a lot of things are pinned on this program for us, and we really hope and pray that we are able to sort of get a really cool cohort, and do
yeah,
something really good with this program in the next 1 year. So
yeah.
yeah, so I think it's good to sign off now, and let you all, whoever have joined, thank you so much for joining in. We will be, of course, putting this, live up on our channel and on our page, so that you can go back to it. I will also put it up on YouTube for people who couldn't attend, so that you can go on the channel and have this link, across the board as well. So yeah, so just reach out to us, apply, and we would love to see you on the other side of this program. So thank you, Mana, for having this session with us, and look forward to everything coming up.
Thank you so much, Aditi. Look forward to many more calls with you, and I hope to see some messages and questions in our DMs from our session. So thanks to everyone who has joined, and all of you. Please have a lovely evening ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.